I'll tell you what, Chris, I would love if that happens to be the script. However, lately, Jay, it is not exactly look like that's a likely turnout. London Royal Ravens off to a very slow start, facing off against the new look Boston Breach. Your thoughts on that new team, KiSMET coming into the lineup for Vivid?
I'm very excited to see KiSMET come into the lineup because we all have heard a lot of good things about this young man with that Boston Academy roster, playing alongside Doug Sensor. I don't know what it is. Everyone who teams with Doug somehow, some way enters the league, except for Doug. Truly sucks for him, but KiSMET, he's been an outstanding player all throughout challenges, man. Finally, he gets to call up to take place of Vivid. I thought it completely caught me off guard because when you think about Vivid, all throughout this year so far for this Boston Breach team, he's usually been like their leader, the guy that will switch his gun at any given moment just to make sure he's able to hold that W at the end of the map. But taking care of him, swapping him out, bringing in KiSMET, obviously the biggest thing that you want to focus on is just simply your slaying. So I think KiSMET is going to have that slaying ability, and then you even heard Shift, my guy Allen, talk about his S&D performance. That's where he really does shine, and if he's going to be the in-game leader, that might be what Boston Breach were definitely looking for.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a controversial move. I know Vivid is a favorite by a lot of people out there. I know Nameless has obviously had his for sure opinion about him being an underrated player, but regardless, we'll see what Boston Breach can come forward with. We'll also see on the intern what London can do, because Jay, they're also sporting a rookie themselves, Yuli entering into his third matchup here with the squad. Definitely trying to turn it around, considering that the Ravens, well, they're 0-6 in maps, 0-2 in series, and Jay, not one map yet has been close.
Yeah, we got to do something if you are London, especially if you are Yuli. I know he hasn't had the best performance so far in the league. He played up against LA Thieves. He played up against OpTic. Both of those teams are well polished, so it's never going to be an easy matchup, but he's overall in that KD department a 0.7. That's not going to be easy when you're playing against some of the best competition, but if your teammates are able to slay it alongside you, that's when those stat lines can turn drastically, as you see London with basically a perfect P1 to start off this game. 40 uncontested seconds. Boston still getting those bad spawns.
Yeah, we're already looking at the London Royal Ravens. Some question marks, how is Scrapz going to play? I mean, if they're going to play anything like this, we very well could be in for the series the Puckett was hinting at on the desk. A 50-0 start here for the Ravens, and we'll see if Breach can start to get on board. KiSMET, a 1-4 beginning for him, as really he and the roster have struggled just to even see that objective, but spawns will flip, and now here come Breach.
Yeah, Boston trying to break it from the back end. They do not want this out of the map going in towards that P3, but they cannot give all this time to London as trades go back and forth. You do have one player, Nero, is going to get that nice one over towards the next hard point, so he's the only player for Boston. Everybody else from London know that we're not going to get that junk time. We're going to fight off the rotation. You take care of Nero. That's already job done. 6-0 for Scrapz. Already earns himself that cruise missile. Is a perfect start for London in his hard point.
Jay, I'm thrown off a little bit. I'll be honest. You kind of assume by the way a series is going to start. I assumed it was going to be, Breach looking good off the rip. But London, talk about great positioning through the first two, up 41 points. Now they've got the best rotation right now on the map here toward the statue as KiSMET gets cleared out there from Nastie. That lead is only going to expand. Ravens on the verge of already reaching 100 seconds before Breach have really fully eclipsed 25. We go back again. KiSMET once more silence. This is a much different Ravens roster already from the get-go, Jay. I know we're only a handful of hard points in, but this team, they are slaying it out.
Oh, they're slaying indefinitely, my friend. They are just dominating the better side of the map, making sure they're maintaining the spawns, making the kills a lot easier as they're chopping them all down as they push through double doors. Give Scrapz the 3. I'm out of here. Time to flip those spawns as Boston are going to spawn 2 bottom art. But at least you do have one player in Yuli who's able to get that stage spawn. He's able to flip his way out. Now all his job is just simply stay alive on that side of the map, wait for his teammates to get into the play. But if London come out to play like this, where the hell has this been all weekend so far? This is great for them.
The last time that they played Fortress Hardpoint, Jay, they walked away with 70 seconds. That was
not good.
Now they've nearly doubled it. We're not even through the first side of rotation.
Oh.
Incredible work across the board. Multiple team streaks. I think we should have some scores, or rather kill streaks coming in not too far from now. But a 100-point advantage in which Ravens are in control once more. Breach, I think it's fair to say, man, they are completely caught off guard for the first time. A moment where they're able to get a few members down on the opposite side, and now they can begin to soak up some of those precious seconds. Still down by 90. We'll see if the young gun and KiSMET can eventually get going as he visits the respawn screen. He sits at 4-12.
So far, Boston finding a good break, getting a good chunk of time off of this P4 hardpoint. try to get themselves right back into this game. They're going to be down by 72 points going in towards this Blacksmith Hill. It's now London. They're going to be fully set up off the rotation. It's all about starting off these initial gunfights right. Nero taking down Asim. He now earns himself that 5 spree. 1 off for earning that cruise. A whole lot of pressure from the front end.
Yeah, that'd be huge, right, for Breach to be able to have that streak as well, just to counter what I'm sure is going to be a decent amount of artillery on the other side. There you go, cruise missile confirmed, and Nero not done at 6. Wants to at least make it a 7 spree, and maybe could even hit double digits. Breach beginning to wake up, but more specifically, it is King Nero trying to have his stamp toward the end of the first set of rotations, but streaks are in, and now here comes Manny Marshall flying and piloting that cruise missile. Information earned, but it is an open objective for now. 20 seconds left over at the horse statue. It's a 1v2 for the point. It's Crep who walks away with it, and Breach, well, they're making that scoreline look a lot better now, Jay.
Yeah, this South Boston can get themselves right back into this game, trying to chain this hill towards that P1. The Scrapz is able to take down Crep off of that chunk time, so no one's going to be able to get this final 10 seconds. It's all about the battle of the spawns. Nastie, he's able to take down Beans, but Crep and Awakening, they combine for 2. They're maintaining stage side. They're making sure that they're spawning all of London towards double doors. Not trying to fight for either one, getting some of this hill time, but it's all about maintaining that better side. And Boston find all the kills. Now they're able to soak some time.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say for Breach too, man. Like, you can kind of tell, like, they are just solely focused and trying to make sure they've got those spawns. They're very carefully trickling their way back into P1, maybe just respecting the unbelievable start that London had to this hard point. As Nero goes low, Breach just continued to maintain wonderful positioning on the map. Only player they're gonna have to worry about though is Asim. He sneaks through with dead silence, and from there, he very well could cause a bit of havoc toward the back lines. 3 players in his sights. Nero goes for the snap, not able to find that. Is it all 3? You bet it is. 3 there for Asim, and we'll see what he can do off of it. Boston having to try to be very careful of quite a few players that have made it behind enemy lines. A big spot for them, as we'll step aside and go to a listening with the Boston Breach.
You need to come up.
I'm playing someone trying to play.
I'm playing Afro. In the back, in the back.
We're gonna P4 last guy. He went to the back. In before now. Back door. More in the back. Back 18. Deep 18. He's playing deep back. Open and deep back.
I'm only by the mark.
Last one deep back.
Shoot at me.
Okay.
Front.
Nice. Look open. Is he right corner?
Open it.
Horse.
Close. Open left guy.
I got streak.
Double single.
Yep, single, I'm pretty sure. I'm
looking in.
No, Thomas dead.
Go.
Dome.
Yeah, it's out.
Single done.
Nice.
He's on me, guys. On me. He's me, the horse.
Mass box.
Dead.
Gate, nothing old.
I'm looking gate.
I need the maps.
I can come with you, but I
Center me.
got gate. I'm on you.
Center, hold it.
I got maps.
Nice.
Stay lock.
I'm pitching up. Oh, the world open.
All good. They could have from me. I'm sure.
Okay.
Yo, watch out, guys.
Help. Crossing one shot.
Maps dead.
Front, no one front.
Yeah, front of me. Enter.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Bottom line P1.
I can streak this. I'm streaking. I spawn those maps. One can spawn mine, you guys. Nothing cross.
Top map's sucking. He's going out.
Top maps, and he's back found.
Top
Back
All game set. I top you.
I got him.
Nice.
Close front.
I'm trying to here. Get this side.
No, two.
Top hold.
It's 3
Another one. Is anyone out?
I spawn maps. Yeah, what's in there? I spawn bottom mark.
Well, how about that check-in with the Boston Breach? One word that comes to mind for me, Jay, is energy. Kremp, the newcomer, talking about trying to be the IGL and Search Destroy. He is definitely bringing the hype right now to the team. They know that they are not just on the verge of a comeback, but now they find themselves in the lead. A complete turnaround here from the Breach boys.
Yeah, Boston, they turned it up to a whole different level in the second half of these rotations. Good time off of that P2. You win the rotation over towards P3. You get a majority of the time there to now take the lead in this game for now until London are going to take it right back. It's all about this P4. Trey's going back and forth. Beans and Kremp, they combine for 2, but Nastie's able to take down another. Now it's on a 2v2, but you see both the London players, they're going to spawn all the way across the map, so you have to try to go big. Awakening cuts them down. Boston Breach, find another one.
20 seconds still to 5-4 over at Cannons. They also have to think about that rotation, but you are definitely focused on this time right now if you're either side. London wanted to make sure that this lead has not come to a complete collapse, at least maintain a bit of something. On the other side for Breach, they smell blood in the water. As we heard from those comms, everybody feeling that much better about themselves. Kremp, a much better performance. You see him now at 25 and 26. Goes for a moment even before he hits the deck. Beans now positive. Awakening, the same thing can be said. And Nero, he's had a wonderful time inside of that objective, trying to pick up maybe from where Vivid has left off. To P5 we go, when it is the definition of a neck-and-neck game, Jay.
Yeah, it's scrappy, but at least London come out on top in the engagements, and we're able to flip those spawns. Now Boston spawning towards the back of Anvil, towards back statue. Have to try to fight off their base. It's all about starting to maintain this map control as Kremp finds one, but the trade is going to instantly be there from Asim. Already 30 and 23. This is usually his field day map where he just loves to take over the game. The first 4 times that he played some Fortune's Hardpoint Lando, he was a 1.27. The last 5 times he's played it, 0.8. So he's just trying to turn it right back around. He's trying to get back to that 1.3 mode, and so far he's not. He's answering the call.
I was gonna say it looks very good to possibly maybe even look that much better now. Maybe the next few hard points. It's been an interesting stretch for him, as you said, Jay, but right now positive 10, maybe in threat of having a cruise missile again potentially.
Oh,
the Chow able to win that one. Confident Asim, back to P1 we go, and now it appears that the Ravens have woke up once more. Scrapz on a bit of a spree, now makes it 4 in a row. Natty Marshall also beginning to heat on up. The desk was challenging him. 0.5 and 0.6 is what his KDs have been so far throughout these opening matches. And right now, he's trying to put the Ravens on his back. London in full control right now of P1, and Boston, they've got to make a move, whether through the backside of the spawns or into P1. Number 3, Big Wake, the player to look out for. Ravens, they sniff him out.
They're all just getting cut down. London do a great job of just reading the spawns that potential players can get. You're taking down the guy that's going to try to flip those spawns on the opposing team. You do that, and you're able to maintain the better side of the map. Basically, another full 60 hold at this P1 is now going to put them 25 points away from taking map number 1. Can they do it? Can they hold on for this final push? Boston, they're getting into close spawns. That's 3 dead. Last play on the point is going to be Nastie. That's try to go big. He at least takes down 1, but Boston, they find the break.
Yuli's still back here. Yuli could definitely cause a bit of chaos. However, player 4 right on tries to go for the snap. Nero, sigh of relief or reload of the gun. As Breach realized now, these 30 seconds definitely look to be in their favor. London, a big spot. Maybe attempt to go for the attack, or maybe you just back up, park the bus, and allow for that rotation over at the fountain. It appears it will be the Ravens stalling things out, allowing for the final 15 to go the way of Breach, and relying on what has typically been and historically been, Jay, a great rotation for the team that starts it off. We'll see if Breach can once more make the brigade, make the rush into this objective, because they're going to have to do it quick.
It's all about going, man. It's all about going. You have one player in Yuli who's trying to watch the cross, but unfortunately gets some bad timing. So a couple Boston players already put themselves in a great position. Spam your attacks towards the front, blow up these trophies, and let's try to get this guy off point, because it's only 9 seconds until London take map 1.
Oh, and Asim, they recognized that he was out of the play, but he actually taking down 1, taking down 2, taking down everybody. The Breach fall by the wayside. And how about that from London? Scrapz and Asim getting up. It was an 8-map losing spree. It was all out dominance on the other side of the stage lately for Ravens, but they have come out hot here in Bounty Week, Jay. They're hungry for that 10K, and they start off this series the best way possible, 1-0, and a 250 to 216 scoreline is what we've got.
That's a nice little chunk of money to come out here in this bounty match, take that map number 1 versus Boston, and finally let go of that map losing streak and coming out and making a statement in this map number 1. Like, look at Scrapz, 35 and 25. He wasn't doing this all last week. Guy put up 4K damage alongside Asim, 39 and 30. Both those guys just took over for London every time a play needed to be made where the spawns were going to be flipped. Asim put himself in a great position. Scrapz is always there to win his one-on-one gunfights and get away with his life. That's exactly how you want to start out the series if you are London. Not having the best week 1, but taking down Boston Breach on this map number 1 is now going to do wonders for this team. Tons of momentum on their side. This is usually a hard point that they like to play, but the difference in this game was that P1 hard point where they just took over full 60 holes back-to-back rounds. Whenever they found themselves just getting the game a little scrappy, they did a great job of just maintaining the better side of the map, setting up for the future, and eventually closing out this game. What a map number 1 from London. Boston Breach, just a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it really comes down to that, right? If you saw the score line at the start of this game, it was London who were up massive. Breach did a valiant effort to at one point tie the game. They took the lead for a short moment, and really from there, London, they just played their cards right, knowing the lead that they had already built up previously. They start to get going again, and then P1, right, it ends up going their way from there. They just make sure they've got the rotation over towards Statue, and that's where this game comes to a close. Impressive work from Ravens and Jay. I mean, what, last week we were talking about how London could not wake up in the hard points. Back-to-back, pretty much 100-point clubs. The last time they played Fortress was versus OpTic in their last series. They put up 68 points, and that was it. So you could definitely tell from all sides, Ravens very, very excited to see that game 1 go their way. And for Boston, well, I think they start to feel a bit panicked. LSCLO Search and Destroy up next. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, LSCLO Search and Destroy is definitely going to be a fun one. Obviously, on the side of Boston, they've recently played this map. They were able to clutch up all the way in round number 10, and Beans, for some reason on this map, he just simply takes over. He always puts himself in so many different scenarios, so many different positionings, the way he's watching so many different angles, and he just does it so well that he's a guy that you have to put a lot of focus on. I know they have an overall record of 4-4, but ever since Bean has entered the roster, they're sitting at a 2-1 record, with him having a 1.75 KD. So Beans is a guy that you have to make sure you're equalizing or at least trying to shut down.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right now, I think sports the number 6 Search and Destroy KD this season in Mr. Beans. Wonderful work coming in from the rookie. And I guess it's interesting, right? Because we're talking about Search and Destroy. Obviously, Boston now down 0-1. One of the biggest talking points it felt like that Schiff was bringing up, I think the desk was touching on it, is that Crimp is coming into this team, as we know, also as a rookie. Yeah. But he might be looked upon to possibly be the IGL of the roster. How do you feel about a rookie maybe leading the comms for what is still a relatively younger squad? But how do you feel about him possibly holding that title now?
I'm excited to see what he's able to do with it, because obviously Boston Breach, they've been great in Search and Destroy even before making that roster change, but to put him in the lineup. So now with him being that IGL, him also being an aggressive SMG player, him also having a 1.24 in KD in challenges in Search and Destroy, he's going to bring a lot of different things to the table. Probably a different couple of strategies, things that he took from his old team that he's able to bring to his new squad that worked really well, just so he can get more comfortable. So that's the biggest thing, because like this guy's only been on the roster for less than a week. So like with him being the in-game leader, he will be able to call calls that makes him a lot comfortable, makes him more comfortable to allow his teammates to do exactly what they do best. And I think the biggest thing that you want to change if you are Boston is that first blood percentage. They are dead last in this map, but at least they make up for it in the 3v4 situations. 37% win rate in that scenario.
Yeah, it's just interesting, right? Because it's like, we always talk about, I don't know, maybe just role-wise, historically, it just feels like veterans, are normally in-game leaders. I know that has changed, over the past few seasons, whether it's been like KiSMET for the New York Subliners back in Vanguard. I know, a big conversation was 2Real's impact on Vegas Legion. It's just an interesting convo. I hope that Crep has maybe got that playbook out for the Boston Breach, try to know their tendencies, know the things that they like to do, and still help be involved in that first engagement. He and Nero there to tag up the first. Scrapz at least able to answer back. In the meantime, it is Breach who have found numbers, but only for a moment. Cremp puts his first kill up on the board, and it's a huge one. Now leads us into the 1v3.
1v3 all left up to Nastie. He knows that Beans likes to play his way over towards top radio. He's able to spot him, hits down a couple shots, but not able to close out the kill. So that stun connecting. His teammate's going to stop the pounce on him, but a beautiful frag comes in. Makes it more manageable. 1v2 now.
It's still a lot of time on the clock. I mean, 40 seconds still to go. And now for Nastie, the pursuit of an early round clutch. What that would do to the confidence of the Ravens is maybe even incomprehensible. Awakening just toward the outside. Dead Silence is rocked. 63 HP and a dream. Nastie tries to escape. A bit of frustration there toward the end, but nearly played his cards right. Boston stay alive. They hold off the 1v3 attempt. And it's Cremp putting in the final kill. Round 1 goes to Boston.
And right there, you could just see London. They were expecting no players from Boston Breach to be inside that A-bomb. They were correct, but they weren't correct about the aggression that Boston were still going to be able to put on without having trophy systems. As Nero pushes his way into courtyard, he gets the first blood, and then all-out pressure through Keg Alley to find the final 2. He put Nastie in the 1v3, doesn't have dead silence to work with yet, and eventually he does get cut down, but Boston Breach able to clutch up on their first defense, and with also getting first blood.
Under round 2 we go. You already hear the ring of that dead silence coming through from Cremp. He tags into Nastie, tosses an 8, says a prayer. He punches the door open, and funny enough, it is Yuli who exists on the other side of it. So it is Ravens here with the first blood this time. And with that, we'll see as Nero begins to move forward with that bomb in hand, what he can attempt to do. Spots the shadow, I believe, there of Yuli. Needs to close that door if he attempts to get that bomb down. Yes, indeedy. Plan about to be in, and now it's up to the Ravens retake. They do have numbers. We'll see if they can utilize those properly.
So now to 3v4. They know the pressure's coming in from courtyard. Great communication on the side of Boston Breach to at least take down both of those players, and already now put themselves in a 3v2 situation. All of up to Nastie and Asim. They're trying to hit that flank through top mid.
Asim. See if he can find the timing. Spots Awakening, hanging out over at the bar, realizing the time is absolutely of the essence. On the verge of the kill, able to drop it. 2 more to go. 15 seconds on the clock. Some movement has to be made. Nero on the bomb site, able to clear away Nastie, and he'll do the work for both. Breach able to clear it once more. London with the first blood, but Boston remains stable, getting that objective down and allow for Ravens to come to them. 2-0 now for Breach.
Yeah, that was a 3v4 right there from Boston. Great job from Nero to instantly get that bomb down, and then I'm pretty sure Beans is the player from Top Money, gets that info that the pressure is coming in through courtyard. Nero, once he gets that bomb planted, instantly pushes out through bottom checkers, finds that kill, and eventually take care of the second, put them in the man advantage. And then Nero shuts it all down by getting the sound cues in towards that A-bomb to find the final 2 kills on the round. 3v4 round right there. London, you can't give that one up. You got to at least put a lot more pressure on the map when you get that first blood.
Well, we're right into round 3, by the way. Sniper is out and in the hands of Beans. Take a look through the crosshairs. One jumps through, goes for the chow. Nearly had 2 lined up. Some great work coming in from Beans. However, the snipes not landing. And in the meantime, for Ravens, that bomb is getting planted. So it is down. And we'll see what Breach can do. Still looking for a pick as Beans. Get ready to have a player challenge him from the right. Climbs up the ladder and manages to escape. Meanwhile, on the outside, Cremp ends up falling. Beans, pistol in hand, he drops 2. And you just wonder if that sniper could have at least rained through with 1 bullet with 1 kill. How different this one could be, but a 1v3 for Big Wake. Not looking good to clutch it out, Jay.
Oh, it's only 15 seconds left. Let's just play our lives. Let's not give up the stats. We're not going to be able to clutch this round. Awakening, he does have that dead silence, but this round is going to be all London. Great pressure from London. Bottom pull. You know that they weren't going to be stacked in towards the site once again. You get the play call that the aggression is coming in from courtyard. You're able to get that bomb down instantly. Hold down the first push. Find that first blood. Eventually win the trade battle to leave Awakening alive in the final moments. London finally get 1 on the board. Beautiful attacking round there.
I'm curious, Jay, like, for Ravens, right? The outlook on the season right now is, you know, they're not obviously in the greatest position when it comes down to the standings. We talked about top 8 is what you got to get for champs. Like, what do you really feel like needs to be the focus of the Ravens right now at this point in the season? Is it search destroy or is it something else?
It's everything. It's literally everything. You only have 50 points. You have the ability to get 210 points if you win every single match, including both majors. So it's all about just perfecting your gameplay in every single mode. They did it in that map number 1. So far in the search and destroy, they find another first blood. Great item play right there from Nastie. Take down Awakening. Yuli snaps for the second. Now at least they put them in the man advantage. They get cut down. London, 2 rounds in a row now. Boston, what's going on? Because London, they're coming out to play today.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I talk about it too, man, because I don't know. I just feel like I look down the London lineup and it just feels like players who should be good at search destroy, and you know, they've had at times throughout this season their strengths when it comes to hardpoint. I know control obviously has not really been there all year for them, but I don't know, like so often we talk about teams that are, you know, in the bottom 4 or maybe just in the need of trying to make a climb up the standings. As you said, it could not be more dire right now than it is for the Ravens, but Search Destroy, it could be their success. It could be their point to maybe make a bit of noise here in Major 4. Better late than never, but as we said, it really is going to be a journey up the mountain for them. The expedition, I guess you could say, begins right here, right now. Up 1-0 and trying to make it 3-2 here in this game. Asim spotting really the barrel of the gun there on Cremp. He takes him down for the start. So it is wonderful work coming in from Asim once more, trying to lead the charge. As Ravens will actually halt the push. Nero's got to be careful with his life. He drops here, and that very well could decide the round.
Yeah, but he's got dead silence now, so you got to be ready for this push that could potentially come in as he's able to hit that flank. It's towards bottom pull. He saps on the first, able to take down the second, and at least makes it a 2v2 now with Nastie picking up beans. But Nero, he's not stopping. Dead silence is still here. He finds his third on the round. He gets the sound cues. The last player's behind him. Awakening here for the pinch.
Give it to Nero. Give it to Nero. No, God, he nearly threw it away, but it's the ace covered in from Nero. Never a doubt. I may have hesitated for a moment, but he rocks that dead silence, and you can see the smile on his face. Goes for the melee, just the fastest of reactions, but thankfully does not throw it away, Jay. There's the highlight for him. A lovely little 4 there.
That's good work from Nero because he was the only player on that side of the map. Even with his teammates getting first blood, another 3v4 situation where Boston Breach were able to clutch up all on the back of Nero. With his dead silence play towards bottom pull, cuts down 2, wins the third gunfight, and then gets a sound cue for the last to earn himself that ace. So now he's sitting at 9-3 on a 4 streak. Can potentially earn himself that cruise missile. But this is a big round right here. London, they're going to be sending multiple players on the flank, and Nero might have just read this perfectly.
Possibly. Player 8, player 5. It could be Nero either hearing them or just running into the bomb site to try to get away. Regardless of it, his life is also going to be taken. And with that, the early flank coming in from London, the crafty plays now has elevated them to a 4 versus 2. The dead silence eventually does run out for Asim, but it's no problem because they can pretty much remain stationary and allow for Breach to come to them. In the process of that going down, it is really Scrapz who gets cut out in the middle of nowhere. So numbers a bit more manageable for Breach, but they still got to get that bomb up in their hands and planted. 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, London, they're just holding the opposite side of the base. They're allowing this bomb plant to go down. Gonna try to retake it with the man advantage. Now time is starting to tick. You get a couple stun hit markers. Now you get the information of where Boston are going to put pressure from. Only 15 seconds left. Someone has to commit towards that bomb plant.
They might rely on Awakening to try to make a play. He's able to do that. However, in the meantime, he does lose his squad mate. And from there, London, well, they do lose 1-2 members in the process. They eventually utilize those numbers to clutch out the round. A nice answer there. And it is Yuli coming away with the final kill. Big one. They're on to a flying Awakening. I would never want to see that in game, Jay. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely gunning you out of your socks from that positioning. But in that case, London, they just had a great play call right there. You get 2 players to invest that dead silence. Pretty sure it was Yuli and Asim on that flank. They saw Nero do it in the previous round. He got 4. This time we're going to send 2 players on that side of the map. And they open up with the first 2 kills on the round. London are able to tie it up at 3. Back on the attack we go. It's been all out pressure in towards this A bomb. Boston this time around, though, they're going to switch it on up. You have Nero's playing courtyard doors, and Cremp, who's being super aggressive up through Keg Alley.
Definitely land out a few shots. Does get stunned out, and that dead silence will come to a halt. So he will look to try to make his way on his belly, knowing that Nastie could be over at top white. As we said, some shots exchanged early, so definitely a bit of info toward either side, and there is all the info that you need. Scrapz found Cremp. Oh, nearly makes his second one. Thankfully, his teammate Nero is able to do all the work that he has to. The SMG duo coming in strong. Beans able to wipe away his second kill of the game. And from there, it is Asim now left in the 1 versus 3. And he's got quite a bit of real estate, Jay. He can really hang out on the bottom side of the map for as long as he'd want.
Not as long as you want, because with only 30 seconds left, you got to get this bomb down eventually, right? Deciding to push his way all the way through the spawn. Gonna wrap his way all the way towards back B, get some info onto Awakening, but Awakening is able to get out with his life. Now all of his teammates turn around. They are ready for the gunfight. Even if it's across the map, Beans is able to win it with the AR. Boston Breach, great response. Great crossfire setup from Cremp and Asim. Once Cremp finds that first one, even though he does get traded, Nero's in a perfect position to find that second kill. And then while Nero's putting all that pressure in towards bottom pool, Beans with that flank through radio tower finds that third kill, makes it a 1v3, and then ends the round with the final. Boston Breach now up 4-3.
The reason why I said Asim can just kind of hang on that side of the map is because I don't know if I really want to visit the other side. I don't know if I want to see 3 members of Breach staring down the barrel at you. Regardless of it, Asim has to make the play, eventually drop.
Oh, let me in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not allowed inside of the pool hall. I don't know what that's about. It's 10-4. I would definitely let him try to make some plays, and very much so. Right on cue. Door once more slammed in his face, a grenade at his feet, 50 HP, stunned up, tagged up, and just manages to get out of the line of sight from his feet. But no! Ends up dropping 2. Nastie, meanwhile, walks right past Awakening. The nice snap coming in from Big Wake now leads us into a 2v3. The ARs still remain for Breach.
And right now, Yuli and Asim do have dead silence invested, so they can run around a little bit, but Asim is actually going to run out. And now it's time for Awakening to invest in his. Bomb is still going to be down towards bottom pool hall. You open up this back door, you get some information onto 1, you go for the snap, and you're able to win it. 2v2 now.
Nobody from London goes for the chow. Remain stationary. In the meantime, Awakening. More hunting to do. Are you serious? Now it's found 2. Does he have the 3rd? He knows exactly where
man.
is hiding. Come here, says Big Wake. Finding the final 3. Incredible work there from Breach in a round that had no right to go their way.
Yeah, these guys are just not good in the 4v4 situations. But if you give them a 3v4, even a 2v4, they stand a better chance. As Awakening just reads the play beautifully, reads the setup on how London we're going to play around that bomb, checks every single corner, and find all the kills in towards the bottom of the pool hall. What a round right there by Big Wake to now put his team at game point.
That is very, very impressive, Jay. Looked like he just knew where everybody was.
Yeah.
Looked like he was like, okay, I'm gonna check this corner. All right, now he's gonna be over here, etc., so on and so forth. Into this round we go, and it is Nero quickly getting Scrapz out of the fight, and Cremp, well, he's happy to go on the flank. He's got that dead silence, feeling confident to go through Keg Alley, and from there, Nastie dropped as well. An instant. Before Cremp goes low. Yuli at least able to drop him, but 3 more members to take down a bomb that still has to get planted just to keep this game alive. Rookie not bringing out the white flag just yet, but that decision very well might be made for him very soon. 40 seconds on the clock. Guns Nero, 2 more to go. And thankfully he does have dead silence, that field upgrade at his side.
Now it's all on Yuli. 1v2 scenario. He knows at least the positioning of 1 player, but he's just going to get this bomb down. Dead silence is now going to run out. Beans and Awakening, the ARs for Boston. Ready to try to set up this pitch. Awakening reads it beautifully, but Yuli with the snap. Unbelievable. Only 6 HP left, and Beans hops the bomb. Beans hops it.
You've got to be kidding. You've got to be joking. You've got to be kidding me. Beans just hops right onto the fuse and denies what would have been a sensational 1v4 from Yuli. He gets the smile and the fist bump from the team. Mind games coming in from Beans. And honestly, Jay, like, that is just wonderful work. They're coming in from Beans in that moment, right? Just knowing that he's going to be on a heater, a little bit low, and health. The last thing that he's going to be expecting in a situation like that is for someone to already be punching in the digits on the defuse. Incredible work there from Yuli late, but it's Breach who walks away with the game. And now we've got ourselves a series.
Yeah, it was such a back and forth S&E to start this one off. It got to about 3-3, but then Boston Breach able to chain 3 rounds together. 3v4 clutch, 2v4 clutch, and then preventing a 1v4 clutch in this final round to close it out 6-3. I love the teamwork already that we saw from Nero and Cremp. Like, 1 player is putting on pressure from Keg's side, and then Nero's putting on pressure from Courtyard. So it's either one of these guys are fighting for that first blood. You see, Cremp only has 1, Nero had 2, but they always put themselves in a situation to find a trade whenever it was necessary. That was just good work from Boston Breach, making sure that they played their advantages to the best of their ability and clutching up tremendously in this search and destroy to now tie it up at 1.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like you said, I don't know what it is about Boston. They just don't really like getting the first blood. It's it's an odd strat, but it does work out for them successfully here on El Asilo Search and Destroy. I gotta say, highlight round for EJ was not just the near 1v4 they're coming in from Yuli, but also that insane retake of Pool there from Big Wake. Wonderful
Easy
stuff.
reads.
Wonderful stuff indeed. I've already been able to see quite a few highlights so far throughout this series, but it is a 1-to-1 game. When we come back after the break, we are headed to a hotel control. So make sure and stay with us, friends. This one has only just begun. Everybody, I am Lando, and today I am joined by Boston's finest beans from the Boston Breach. Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm good, you know, just working every day, getting better, all that.
Well, you just finished up your first major with the squad. You get a top 4 placement. It's also your first time on the main stage. For you and for the team, what were some of your biggest takeaways, you'd say, from the Texas major?
Probably just getting comfortable on the main stage together. Obviously, for me, it was my first time on the actual main stage. So it's a way different atmosphere to anything I'm used to. And so sometimes you tend to play situations differently. You're like, it's not really nerves, but it's just different. So when you get put in a different situation, you play differently.
It feels like you've kind of been in a situation where you've had to adapt quick, really throughout your entire life. Like I watched a few interviews that you've done. You've traveled around the world growing up. Many don't even know that you actually lived in Dubai for a while. How has like that lifestyle impacted both who you are in game and out of game in the situation that, like we said, you've been in for the last month?
I think it's like I can like adapt to new people very quickly, so I can like make friendships and relationships really quick. So obviously moving countries, moving continents at such a young age really helped with that when I was like 12 or 13, and throughout that time I was obviously still playing COD, so I was meeting loads of new friends and stuff. And through that went to a couple of LAN events out in Dubai, and then going to the main team, it's just new faces, completely never spoke to before, and just getting to know them quick and creating that bond as quick as you can. The more comfortable you can get, the quicker it's easy, because then you can pick apart plays and stuff, because when it's early doors, sometimes you're like hesitant to say stuff, or you can't really get comfortable with the team. So the faster you can do that, obviously the better.
Well, I will say, Beans, I feel like you've had a great impact so far on this team already. You helped get this team their first Game 5 victory of the season. You helped give Breach their first franchise win over the LA Thieves. You helped deliver Breach their second ever finish above a top 4 or at a top 4. But I'm sure for you, right, the goal is something that is much greater than this. If you could pinpoint one thing that the squad needs to do in order to deliver the Boston Breach their first championship in franchise history, what do you feel like that is?
The main thing is good habits. So like, practice what you play. Don't, it is fun sometimes to have some fun times in scrims and do some random stuff, but getting in good habits all the time is probably the main thing. We made some mistakes at Major 3 that we never would make in practice, but that's just the way it is. That's just, sometimes the moment can get to you. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of external factors, you just won't make the right play all the time, and that's just the way it is sometimes.
One of my favorite parts about your addition to the other 3 Beans is the passion that you provide. It feels like you were always one to get up, get loud, yell across the stage. Where does that fire as a competitor stem from?
I create these like mental battles in my head with every team I play against, as if they're the ultimate enemy. Right. I don't know, this comes within. It's nothing like you plan on doing, really. It just happens. It's a little bit different from the main stage, because in the pit, in challenges, there was actually a bit of mental game to it. Like roaring, shouting at people. To some people, it would actually get in their heads, whereas on the main stage, they can't hear you can't hear a thing, obviously with the soundproof headphones, so it's not really the same. But it's for the team. It's just passion. It's even when you're losing, you don't stop that passion. You keep going. Anything you want to say to the CDL, maybe to the Boston Breach fans out there? Thank you for all the support. Obviously at the major, even at Major 2 when I wasn't in the main team yet, it was really good seeing all the fans. Major 3, it was really good taking pictures of everyone. It was awesome. I really appreciate it, and keep supporting. We'll be here all year. I'll tell you what, Beans, you've earned a fan here. I got my Breach mask. I'm excited for you guys. Good. Excited for you, man, for the rest of the year. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by the new series Citadel, premiering on April 28 only on Prime Video.
How's it going, friends, and welcome back to the Call of Duty League. I gotta say, that guy who just did the interview in the player profile, wonderful job, by the way. Regardless though, Jay, in all seriousness, Beans, was a blast talking with him, trying to get a little bit more of an insight on Boston Breach moving here into the Major IV Qualifiers. And I gotta say, man, he's got a great head on his shoulders. It feels like for this Breach team, they've done such a wonderful job at just trying to grab and trying to utilize that Boston Breach Academy team to the best of their ability. Obviously, like we said, they've got Beans, now they've got Kremp. So far, after 2 maps, what would you give Kremp a grade? Where would that be at as we fly in for hotel control now?
I think I'll give him a B+. You know, he's doing great work in the search and destroy. The first hard point lacked a couple in those rotation gunfights, but overall, he's having himself a nice little series. You heard that interview with Beans. I think the biggest thing I took away was like public enemy #1. That's who London is right now in his head. And going up against them on their best control map, even though they have a record of 3-9, this is where they usually find themselves some success.
And it's interesting because speaking of this map in general, right, this is a relatively new one. I think you said for the Boston Breach,
yeah,
right? Like a hotel control. Feels like this is one that we see all the time, but I guess for Breach, it's not really been that so far throughout this season.
Yeah, they haven't played it in 3 months. Last time they played it was January 15th, and that's even before Beans entered the roster. So obviously, when you make that roster change, you add the addition of Kremp to your lineup. You're thinking that the slang is definitely going to be there. He probably has a little bit better of a game plan, how you want to play this map. That's why they decided to put this one in the series, trying to expand that map pool going into the later half of this year as they're putting a lot of pressure on towards mid. First segment already done at A, but London, they have mid map control. They can still fight for to get them off at this point.
You can tell, like, right, having just one player on it, it does allow for that time to pause, but you're not really gaining a whole lot from it. Little by little, that segment begins to fly on forward. From there, Asim able to tag up a few members and really Breach. They don't get the information that they wanted, but they do at least now have quite a bit of time now at their side. Full capture through. Big gunfight one from Kremp, and now that will leave Breach to make their way through the backside of the spawn. Quite a bit of time still to work with, and a big gunfight here for Owakening. He's able to take that, so Breach beginning to formulate a push.
Yeah, they're beginning to formulate a push. Both of those teammates die, wrapping back towards bedroom. So now Beans and Owakening trying to find a couple spawners. Leave some of that pressure on, at least try to set up this pinch. They're able to catch Julie off spawn. They know that Scrapz is still back here. Beans finds too, even with the SMG, but at least you get all the information. Those players are cleared out. Last two players in towards bed as they do not find a single kill. London holds strong.
Yeah, London take down all 4, and also if you're the Ravens, you know exactly where they are spawning. Over toward the kitchen and now into the diner. Scrapz ironed up and ready to go for 1, nearly for 2. Good work there for Nero to snap onto 1, but at the same time for Ravens, like I said, I mean, they clear out a few players. They are really making Breach have to work for every bit of map positioning. And really, a few players make their way in from middle, trying to cut across into that B zone, not going to be there. And so the only man that's made it past enemy lines once more is Owakening. We'll see if he can make good on this opportunity now. 30 seconds on the clock. Somebody's got to make a move on. This kill is huge. Owakening drops it again. It's now all of Breach coming in from the front, and now Nero, who's trying to make a play on the flank.
And now this is going to be their last push. Every single time they've tried to overextend through Shandy, tried to set up this pinch. But the players from London are changing their positionings around, staying alive in the crucial moments, and just playing the trades efficient. Because now with only 7 seconds left, Boston do have some map control. They can stop the clock. All someone has to do is get on the point, but with London maintaining mid side, they're able to cut them all down with beautiful crossfires and hold strong on that defensive setup around B. London take round 1.
I just feel like Royal Ravens were, like I said, man, all out confident. Well, Ili's got to be careful not to shoot his teammate in the butt. That would be testament in lesson number 1, but still finds a few kills toward the end. But yeah, I just feel like for Ravens, like they just pretty much stacked themselves up inside of the bedroom, allowed for those flanks to come through. Owakening 2 big opportunities to try to make something happen behind enemy lines. He gets thwarted in both of those situations, and really the rest of Breach not able to do much, as we said, from that bedroom parking lot position. But now the sides will flip. Boston on the defense, London on the attack. We'll see if Ravens can maybe etch in a few more segments to have that lead. But in the meantime, it is an all-out push over toward that A objective.
Ooh. Awakening with a big 2-piece. Starting it off towards middle connector before he does get chopped down. Close spawns are going to be here for London. Over towards kitchen, but you have one player in Kremp that's going on that late flank. He does get sniffed out. Great play from Yuli. Take care of that player as the first segment is about to be complete. It's looking like Boston just waiting for their opportunity, probably trying to find one kill before they decide to pounce. Bean starts it off, Awakening with the second. Now the other two players fly through connector.
It just feels so frustrating if you're a London member.
Tough.
Considering that Awakening, every single chance that he gets, he's able to poke away at a few over at that A zone. Now Nero begins to fly. And so pretty much be the one man that sits in front of them before they can even get into kitchen, get into that A zone. And we'll see if that causes enough of a stir for Ravens to maybe even reposition, decide to go for that B zone. A bit scattered inside the middle. They begin to line up.
Man.
One direction and 3 go the other. A 5 spree granted here for Nero. 1 away from the cruise.
Yeah, I don't know how he just got that 4-piece. A little bit of assistance from Yuli to at least take down one teammate, but what a play from Nero. Shuts down that aggressive push. He earns himself a cruise missile, and with only 20 seconds left, London have to put pressure on in towards Diner. They're getting those spawns towards kitchen. You just have to get past Beans, who's just lighting them up with that TAC 56. Couple snakes towards the backside of the Diner, just trying to stay alive, but time has started to tick. London look like they're not going to be able to touch this point, and this has been a dominant defensive round for Boston on the response, only allowing one segment. Now puts them in the lead on this map, tied at 1 now.
Yeah, I mean, that was just all out clinical. Like, it was Awakening tagging up a few really around multiple positions here over at the restaurant, and then he called it perfectly. Like Nero's unbelievable spree where he goes, takes down a few in a row. I think, like you said, he does earn that cruise missile in the end. It just felt like for Ravens, never really a chance to get coordinated, never really a chance to get comfortable, and Breach make them pay. We felt like London did a solid job on the defense, but how about that from Breach? We're going to have that advantage regardless coming into this round number 3 on the attack, and we'll see if they can stack it up that much more. And it looks like off the start here for Boston, another early hit toward B. Last time around, they struggled to really get into bedroom and make something happen. Now this time around, we'll see if they can improve on a bit of their mistakes. Kremp at 5 and 10, trying to be the difference maker. Up the ladder he goes, and receiving the fate of another death. Yuli there to drop him. Boston back to A.
Back to A they go. London great on the defensive setup. Just reading all the players are putting pressure over towards bed, but now that you read what Boston are going to do over towards A is the first segment. It's only being captured by one person. Everyone else is just playing for a couple kills. Nastie's at least able to relieve some of that pressure by taking down Beans. Trying to set up his teammate on the flank, which is going to be Scrapz, but he gets cut down. First segment done. Nastie, it's time to make that decision. Let's just back on up.
Sylph will do that again on the 3 spree, so he definitely does have a valuable life. He's decided to try to tag somebody up at the end, catches a snaking Awakening. And no, not going to extend that spree. So Nastie, one line of defense ends up dropping, and now it is going to send Scrapz now over on in. He also will fall. So here is the opening that you've been looking for. If you're Breach and you get it with 1:40 on the clock, you will take it. Another kill found in the mid from Beans.
Okay.
It's going to be 2 now for him. 2 members left up for London. The others are out of the fight. Right into that B zone we go. All pressure on for the Ravens to try to hold this off.
Yeah, they're trying to retake from middle, but Boston know exactly where they are coming from. They start off with the initial 2 kills. The stack isn't still here, but at least the first segment is already done. They just don't want to get bad timing on Yuli. The player that's still staying alive in towards bedroom. You know what, the rest of the players from London are attacking from mid, but the second segment is already in. They get the gunfights in towards bedroom. Now the stack is here, and this is looking like a Boston Breach round.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Beans, fiery, happy about a round victory like that. I'll be honest, that just looked way too easy.
That was too clean.
That looked way too simple for Boston to walk away with. Like, you know, they had a bit of adversity over in the restaurant, but nothing really. There's 1:40 on the clock. The one push that they make through the backside, through the flank, is successful. They've got 1 guy, 2 guys in the objective, and the rest of them know exactly where the positioning of the Ravens are going to come from. It felt like London were the ones who were on the non-favorable side, when in reality, it is not at all the case. Excellent work there for Breach. Another streak that could be on the cards here for Nero. And really for Boston, they can close out this control right here now.
Yeah, Boston set themselves up beautifully. The closeout on this defense is all about these initial gunfights, and Cremp and Nero, they started off. If I'm Nero, already on another 5 spree, just invest the cruise. Why don't you? You're going to be able to earn yourself another one with the way that you have been playing so far in this series. They're just playing like rats in towards the bedroom. Just having multiple players from London trying to sniff them out. Cremp is winning one after one. Huge gunfights in towards the bedroom, and he's able to shut down that person. Finally, London get an opening towards kitchen, make it all 4 dead. Able to stop that clock. Try to close out A, I think.
Maybe.
Okay.
Nasty. Okay, well, somebody hops to the objective. In the meantime, it just looks like I said, man, for Ravens, a bit of a scattered push. They've got somebody in the objective, 2 players who are pretty much just allowing for the spawns of Boston to not have a few players coming off of them. So a position lockdown, and yeah, from there, Ravens, they just send 3 players back in the objective, trying to stack that one up. Meanwhile, Asim holding an interesting cut. So objective captured. It feels like for London, like we said, a bit of an odd situation, but they all regroup, and from there, that's the name of the game. Stack the point, and maybe win the round. Off of it, 3 players, the back lines here for Ravens. We'll see what they can do with it. Boston are absolutely aware that this push is coming. Up to Asim, and right now up to Yula to try to make something happen. Great bait and switch, still alive.
Great work from London. Asim and Yula is trying to be the dynamic SMG duo on the back end. Controlling the spawns, controlling the pressure. As Asim is able to at least find one. Awakening's putting down some shots, but Nastie was a huge one-on-one gunfight in towards bedroom. So now London, they can decide to wrap back, fight this from the front end, while Nastie still causing problems on the back end. It's all about starting off with these gunfights. Asim, he's in a crucial position. He's just gonna hop on the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Asim is in a huge spot right there. I mean, he can give the comms over the squad mates, at least letting them know not where they are, but as he drops, he has to hop in the point. Scrapz as well. He also does get dealt with, so London, some close spawns over at the bedroom. 35 seconds left to go. And this round, if it goes the opposite direction, this game is over. Yuli, at least able to drop one. Here come the Ravens. One player that could be making a play on the backside. Very well could be Nero. Dead silence, and he's pretty much out of the play right now. So all out focus is at the bedroom. Awakening begins to beam him. Here comes the cruise, and Nero not able to find anything, but at least has some information calling out that pretty much half of the team is out of the play. Time continues to tick. Can anybody make it here for the Ravens?
It's all over, man. Final push is coming in. Crep has bedroom control. You're watching the aggressive push up through couches as Beans cuts them both down. And that's going to be Boston Breach taking the control map. They haven't touched this since January 15th, but they look great ever since the addition of Crep. 3-1 is the final score. Boston Breach now up 2-1.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think for sure if you're Boston, you walk away with this one feeling pretty good, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. It just looked very sloppy at times for the Ravens. Like, you know, it just looked like at certain moments when it came down to the early defense, when Breach just kind of waltzed their way to the back lines, it looked a little too easy for them to make that flank, for them to make that play, and just different moments in that last round, right? Where London are on attack, they send a few players forward, maybe just not aware of where Breach are at on the map. Regardless of it, London, another control loss. And that has really been the name of the game for them so far throughout this season. Now make it 5-16 in control on the year. Not making that one look much prettier. And just like that, Jay, back-to-back dubs here for Boston. Got to feel like the momentum is without question right now at their side.
Oh yeah, definitely. After having a slow map number 1, through great work in the search and destroy, and even into the control, you haven't played this one as a team, but the game plan was on point. The one mishap was in that first attacking round where London, they were just shutting down that pressure through the back end and maintaining bedroom control. But once Boston, the second time around on the attacking side, you called it perfectly, my friend. They find those first 2 kills off the rip. They spawned them all the way out towards Shandy. They only had 1 player on the point because they knew that the pressure was still going to be from bedside. Once you eliminate both of those players, the stack eventually came in, and they were able to close out that round. London just slowed down in the slaying. Like, that was the biggest difference for me. We saw it in round number 1. They were able to keep up. Every single time someone needed to get a 2 or 3 piece, it was happening. But as we got deeper into the game, their guns started to get a little bit more cold. Boston was starting to get a little bit more hot in their aspect, because they just had the perfect game plan, man. You know, on defense, if you are the team, Let's push that towards bedroom. Your teammates are dying off spawn towards back spa. If you don't find any kills bed, you're not gonna have a good time. And Boston Breach has did a great job of finding the kills at the right time, stacking the point at the right time to eventually close out the control 3-1. Now up 2-1 in the series, going into Mercado Hardpoint, where they have yet to play this one and get a W. They're sitting at 0-3 overall. London, they're sitting at like 3-6. So neither one of these squads have a lot of success, but you can already see Boston Breach with the new addition of Cremp. They're trying to expand that map pool. They're playing maps that they're not quite familiar with.
Yeah, that was the thing that I thought was very interesting, right? When we got the map vetoes, it was like, okay, what's the set going to be? Game 3, Game 4, as you said, the hotel. For Boston, not really touched it in a very long time. At the same time, for Mercado, 0-3 on the year. And so another map that they're trying to, like you said, throw into the map pool now with this new addition and Cremp, really trying to improve on things. And I know, Jay, like you said, it feels like Cremp has had a solid debut up to this point. But to me, this is the map where we really figure out, I guess, maybe where Cremp's going to sit with this team, maybe the future potential of this lineup. Because if you do look at the Boston numbers, there's a reason why they've only played it 3 times. The reasoning for that is because they have the 3 worst KDs on Mercado Hardpoint, that being Beans, Awakening, and Nero. They sit at 60, 61st, and 62nd. So they're going to need Cremp to try to make a decent impact. If he's able to do that, I tell you what, that would do wonders, I feel like, for at least the stats. That's for sure.
Well, I think if I'm Cremp, the biggest thing that I got to do for this team going into Mercado is simply rotate early, because Boston Breach, they are dead last in rotation win percentage on a map like Mercado. You know how difficult some of these hills are to break. So you have to make sure you're setting up properly for that next hill, cutting your losses, chalking up that final 20 to 25 seconds, and setting up properly for the next hill. Because even before Cremp entered this roster, they struggled in rotations, and they also struggled in breaks. 11th out of the entire CDL. So you're not winning your rotations, you're not finding breaks. Let me tell you right now, you're definitely gonna have a donut in Mercado Hardpoint. Just gotta win a couple rotations, set up properly, make the game a lot easier for you going up against a London team who struggle basically in the same exact stuff. So it's a battle for rotations, in my opinion.
Well, last time we saw a hard point between both these teams, Jay, it was London who got off to a very, very hot start. Breach eventually woke up, but it was still a dub in the end for the Ravens. If there is anything that can translate from Fortress to Mercado, what do you want to see the Ravens try to replicate here in Game 4?
It's the rotations, man. They were early to a bunch of these money hills, setting up properly, putting crossfires down, and just playing the game correctly, making the game a lot easier. So with London starting off on the bad side, you want to try to flip those spawns instantly, try to take control of green, get that time off of that B2. And this is already a great start. You're finding initial 2 kills. Boston, they're not playing for any time yet. They're playing for that maintain over towards green side. They're able to cut them down, and that's a good 2-piece from Nero to start them off. London do a great job off the rip, but Nero cuts down that spawn flip, and now Boston Breach able to get on that time.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things for me as Zero does eventually get taken down is really the odd stats for Breach, because it just felt like, having players like Vivid and Nero, this should be a map where they absolutely thrive on. But with the new roster change, maybe this is the time for them to actually put it to good use. London with a few huge kills. Now it's going to spawn out Boston a bit. So into this P2 that we go. 10 seconds left over at the last hill, but the all-out focus is over at the Cantina. Ravens play it patient. They play it perfect. And from there, now they've got this building firmly in their grasp. Great job here from Ravens early.
That's beautiful teamwork right there from London. To solo out Awakening, the only player who's sitting in towards top green, but now it's all on Nastie. He's the only player still alive in this position. He does take down 1, but Boston, they combine for 3. Now the last player here is going to be Asim. He has to try to stay alive. At least you're influencing those spawns for your teammates. The spawn closer towards heads, but here comes Nero on the flank.
Now what the heck just happened? London looked like they had full control, and then
they
all
did.
of them, except for one, die in a matter of seconds. 30 seconds to go, and for Priestahh, they're already thinking about that rotation. Much love to be. It's a big gunfight for him to win on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, we still have quite a few seconds to fight for over at the Cantina. So big gun engagements either which way. It's Beans who wins the rotation fight, and it looks like those final 10 seconds also could go the way of Boston. A scrap fight for it. London will grab it, but as we said for Breach, their focus is going to be on over at 10. Cremp winning a few huge kills off of rotation. Another one would be massive. Not able to grab it, and now here come Ravens with numbers.
Here comes Ravens as they're able to find a bunch of the kills on the map. That's a flawless break. for them off the rotation in towards this P3. I don't know if I'm lagging, Lando, but the gameplay is lagging for me. London so far, they are holding strong, but Boston Breach, they're able to find 2. They're trying to set up that pinch. Nero finds a 3rd. The break is about to be it.
Sorry that you're lagging, buddy. Let me know if I can help you in any way possible. Right now in game, it has been a very, very interesting first few hard points right now for Breach, trying to lock things down. It's been all about breaks, especially as of late. London once more able to win a wonderful, wonderful gunfight. So Nastie takes that, and from there, back we go. It is Breach with a slim advantage. London look good to walk away with the scrap. So from there, now to the barber shop. Jano, you've got a fresh cut. It looks like Boston, they're lined up out the door. Interested to walk away with that early time and hopefully start to build back up this advantage.
Yeah, Boston, they're going to be the team here early. London, they're getting those close spawns over towards garage side and putting a pressure on through the middle of the map. Scrapz is at least able to start it off with the first kill. And I just can't keep up. I don't know what my screen is doing right now, but Awakening, he's able to find 2. Trades back and forth. Boston Breach, they're still holding, I think.
Yes, they are, Jay. They are indeed. Nero locking it down right now for the squad. Beans does eventually get found out. Asim, hungry and aggressive, has to halt his progress and wait for the rest of the teammates to come off the spawn. They're trying to be cautious of the other Breach members who are also trying to make their way across the map. 20 seconds still to fight for. It is all out chaos. And Jay, I'm not sure if you can see it, but Boston, they're locking down barbershop.
I can see a little bit. It's back and forth, but I see Boston. They're currently up by 40 points. They're not going to win that rotation gunfight, though, over towards 10. You do have one player in Beans, though, that does get that close back alley spawn. So Beans, he's influencing a couple close spawns for his teammates. They're going to be here nice and early. London had to try to clutch up on these gunfights. Nastie in a powerful position.
Nastie trying to lock things down to the top side. It feels like for London, he was really their guy in Major 3, trying to elevate his game. Now in their 3rd series in Major 4, but Big Wake, like a force of nature, making his way through the point, making his way into 10 alley. Nastie, the sole man alive, waiting for some reinforcements to come off the spawn, and the reinforcements, the cavalry, has arrived indeed. Wonderful work here for London, but it is still a headbutt right now in the point. 60 points and growing. 20 seconds to fight for. Here left for the Ravens, but now it's going to be about the rotation. They get awarded with the final 15, and from there, we will see how this next hard point elects to go. A few early gunfights off of the rotation, and right now it is Boston sitting favorably again.
Yeah, Boston off the rotation, fully set up. You get those close spawns, and now you're forcing London to find a break. It's going to be a lot of pressure in through mid-tunnel. You have one player, Nastie, playing it super slow through back banana alley. He's trying to find an entry, but all of his teammates put the pressure on through tunnel. I don't know if Boston going to be ready for this push. Crep at least takes down 1, but there's still 2 players here from London trying to contest.
Big situation right now for the Ravens. Yuli over the top. He's got one player in his sights. Nearly makes it a second. Tries to go for the snap. Not going to be there. Boston clear the first wave. And now maybe a bit of hesitation coming in from the Ravens. Do we decide to hit this? Do we decide to go for the roto? No, it is going to be an attack once more. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding in a big spot right now for the London Royal Ravens.
That's two.
Can we bottom? I take your time. I'm on P4 ball.
Looking for Nero and Crimp. Both sides. Put it in P4, I'm out of P4 truck.
I need
He's in P4, I'm stunning it.
I sent him P4.
I'm shouting it. No, he's close laying down. I didn't hit him. He's lying up close.
Back alley, Nero charged it. Hard charge back alley.
P4 dead.
Nero back alley. They killed.
I'm looking up mid. They're gonna spawn blue. They're gonna spawn blue, guys.
Alright, I'm gonna come with you. Let's go P4, go P4.
I don't see parking lot.
I have daddy pop.
Gate. One's gate on me.
Yo, one's deep gate. Deep gate.
Yo,
on blue car, blue car.
Pinch
mid. Blue car on top RV. Top RV is one, I think.
Top RV, I don't see him.
Back alley dead.
One more top RV, drop back alley. You can go alley. You can go P4, you can go.
He's in blue. Will they hit blue?
You can go alley.
I'm stunning the blue
Blue car, Maddie.
Two times.
Blue car, Maddie.
I'm doing the hop with you. One's in blue and blue car.
Blue car.
RV. Crap on the hop. No, that's out of the RV. One's gate, I think. I spawn blue. I'm gonna pinch on blue, bro. Try and get him off this time.
Yeah, we need to
P4 pinching.
P4,
Spawn behind me.
Wait,
Beans in force in blue. Beans in blue. Wait, let's bring this back, guys. One's gate.
Let's go, come on.
One shot, crimp on RV.
Yo, gate one.
One shot on RV.
Get one mid, that's your mid. Nice, good job.
I have the right cross, right? I have all of that. Yeah, one's P1. And then one P4 as well.
One shot new. He's running out tunnel. Nero.
He's pushing Nero. He's pushing house.
I'm gonna go right here.
Nades on time.
One's above my head,
guys.
Yep, throwing nades on time.
Double my head. I knew it, bro. Beans is Tetris. Lay down Tetris. I knew it, bro.
Tetris.
Tetris dead. Nice, two. We're looking for Awakening and Crem, guys. I spawn banana. I'm pushing out right.
One shot.
Table ramp. Crem, table ramp.
Table ramp dead.
Nice. You spawn in house.
He spawned 10 behind me, bro. Watch out.
He's spawning house.
One house on me. One got a back alley spit and one
I'm gonna pitch gate.
The one is house on me. I don't know who it is.
I need him on time. I didn't hit him, no.
Yeah, I'm hitting around.
All time dead.
One is house, one shot, Wake.
A very fiery London Royal Ravens squad. The boys still have some hope. They still have a chance when it comes down to this game and when it comes down to this series. The issue being is that Boston right now sits at 219 points. The goal of the game is to get to 250. Ravens are going to need something special to try to bring this back. But Jay, it all starts at the Cantina.
Yeah, it all starts at this P2. You have to try to flip these spawns, at least win these initial gunfights, so the game will be over right now. As Boston Breach have all the bodies on this side of the map. They know where the pressure's coming in from. Only 30 seconds away from them calling series. It's a good start, though, for London. They find the initial 2 kills. All out pressure through heads. The break might be in.
It very well could be. Here comes Scrapz. Big gunfight victory for him. Yuli on the outside. He's also able to win that gunfight. 2 players left for Boston, and they're on both opposite ends of the Cantina. Last one alive now. It's going to be Beans waiting for some reinforcements. Breach absolutely can still win this hard point here. And so with that, they try to go for the late attack. Yuli with the snap. Great work coming in from the Ravens, keeping this hard point still alive. And now it's about the race for the rotation. Yuli wins that, and now it is 2 members from London inside of the next point. It is Scrapz trying to be the cutoff man, eventually eviscerated. Is now Kremp trying to make his moment happen, trying to make his biggest kill of the game. That's one. Eventually drops. Now into the point we go. It is chaos. It's a 2v2. Boston still locking down the time. Awakening called upon. He drops, and Ravens stay alive again.
Asim goes big, man. He's able to find 2, stay alive. Now he's working towards potentially picking up that cruise missile. Boston Breach spawning all the way across the map. This is where Kremp is going to invest that cruise, give the information to his teammates where to attack from. It's all about getting past Nastie. You take down Asim, big purge kill, but you have to put the pressure on here. London can't win here, but Boston can. So London know that they have to fight for every single inch now.
They do indeed. That's the biggest part right now for London. It's just trying to spin the plates, right? It's just trying to keep in mind everything, every aspect of the game. Awakening from the top side. That's gonna, oh, it's gonna be 3. All of them there for Big Wake. Do they get the tick? It is absolutely possible, and that is what this game balances on. Did Breach get the tick? If they did, this one is over. If not, this rotation is massive. Did they get it? No, they do not, but Boston rotate regardless, and they close things out there on the barbershop. A massive win there for Boston as they walk away with this bounty match. Richer in the standings and richer in more ways than one. London, a frustrating loss there, as it felt like they had something brewing. It felt like they had something going. But Boston comes away with the dub, and it's 3 games back to back to back.
And I think the turning point in this hard point was in the first rotation of hard points. With London, they were fully set up at that P2, and then they got instantly broken. That is the difference in this game. 250 to 194 is the final score line. Boston Breaches did a great job of putting themselves on the better side of the map every single time for all these money hills. For the P4s, they were there early towards barbershop. Towards cantinas, they were there first. Boston Breach, they fixed their mistakes after the map 1, not winning a majority of the rotations. They do it here in the map 4, and they're able to close out the series. What a debut from Kremp.
Yeah, that's got to feel good, right? If you are Kremp. On the other side for Yuli, another rookie, now makes it 0-3 in his first 3 matches with the London Royal Ravens. I got to say, Jay, though, I mean, after 3 series, the last 2 were not great for London.
Yeah.
I felt like the Ravens definitely showed some more fight. It just is a shame for them that it equals out in another loss.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough because obviously you get another week of practice underneath your belt. You're able to at least steal 1 map in this series, but Boston Breach still a very, very tough opponent to try to take down. Fell short in the final 3, and now London find themselves in another 0-3 stage, man. That's tough.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate right now for the Royal Ravens, but it is a wonderful situation if you're a Boston Breach fan. Kremp, a wonderful debut and an opening series W there for him. That's going to do it for myself and Jay. Pocket Desk, take it away, guys.
Thank you, Lando, and congratulations to 80% of the chat, as well as Ali and Nameless. You all saw this one coming. Breach gets the W here, but we kind of failed to mention in this bounty matchup, it wasn't just $10,000 on the line. This was a big matchup for Yuli as well as Kremp. Two challenger players who are now getting their starts in the CDL. Let's start here with the winner. How do you grade Kremp in his first performance here with the Breach?
I think it was a little bit of a slow start, but I think in that map for Hardpoint, he definitely got a lot more comfortable in this series. And I will say, it's weird for me to be like, Boston Breach is now a really good search and destroy team. Like, that's not something I look at this roster and think of. I usually think of the respawn. So it's a nice turnover, I think, for the Boston Breach camp. And once they kind of get back in their flow with that Hardpoint, I mean, those look like the top 4 team that they already were.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial run from Kremp was fantastic. When we talk about, the potential worries for what could have happened with this roster move, it would have been the dynamic between Nero and his SMG duo no longer being as good as it was. Well, they had a lot of chemistry, and I believe that's how they got through this series, was what they were able to do in the search and destroy, pushing up, taking control of their side, getting bottom pull, making plays together. Also in the respawns, like, he had a lot of engagements. On that map one, like, Kremp started off really bad, ended with the most engagements on the team, and put up a ton of damage. So he did his job, and he played pretty good for the squad.
On the other side, we had Yuli playing for the Royal Ravens, his second loss that we've seen in the last 2 weeks. What have we seen from Yuli? What is his role for the Royal Ravens? And is he doing the job they brought him in to do?
Personally, I don't think so. I think Yuli has been seriously struggling, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for London Royal Ravens in this series. We talk about London playing these teams so close. After they got that first hardpoint win in that Fortress, it was like, okay, let's go London Royal Ravens. And then we moved into that fourth hardpoint, and it just felt really slow. It felt like Yuli, there's a lot of opportunity for him to make these game-changing kills, popping that 2-piece maybe and breaking the final kills in the hill, and he just wasn't capable of coming through for the team. So I think it's an unfortunate situation for the London Royal Ravens.
Royal Ravens still at the bottom of the pile, looking for their 6th win, but Boston getting another dub today. They earned $10,000 and our Scuff play of the game. Let's take a look at this bad boy.
Is it an
After
ace?
London wins game 1, Nero says, nah, this is our momentum, son.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful ace. He just flanks around, gets control of their side, and he just wreaks havoc down here. I mean, I think there was 2 aces. There was one by Nero just running around with SMG, and then also Awakening with the TAC 56. So they were having their way, playing super aggressive. Like, Nero's hitting money, hitting low courtyard. You also had Kremp hitting through concrete, so you had to deal with a lot if you're London.
That is our Scuff play of the game and our Scuff play of the game winner. Nero joins us live right now. Welcome to the stream, Nero. We got to talk about this first matchup. First off, how does it feel knowing you got another 10K coming to the bank accounts?
It feels good. Obviously, any money, any profit's amazing. So I'm just blessed to have this opportunity to play for it.
And of course, we got to ask you about the change in sub duo. So you used to play with Vivid on the bench for this one. They bring Kremp in. What was it like playing with Kremp? What's different with him in the lineup?
I really wouldn't say anything's really different because they both have like similar play styles. Like Kyle's really aggressive. He gets stuff done. He does the dirty work. He also gets the hill too. So he's just an all-in-one package. I really wouldn't say there's really much difference other than obviously Kyle is. This was like his to prove match, so he's just hungry for it.
Yeah, for sure, Nero. And obviously that begs the question of kind of what the conversation was like as a team to bring Kremp in. And do you have any history of playing with him, or was this kind of your first time?
It's funny. I do have experience with him. I was actually supposed to be on an EU cadet team with him during MW, but it folded. So, yeah, we were supposed to team, but it just never happened.
Nero, I wanted to ask you, looking at the series, you guys both played hyper aggressive as you usually do. It seemed pretty similar with Vivid. You guys are just super hyper aggressive. What are you hoping for with this change? Like, what are you guys trying to get to?
I think me personally, maybe slowing down a little bit because I think the problem with me and Reese is that we're both putting up like crazy number engagements. So I'll just let him take the role of going rogue like Kyle, and then I'll just sit back and just play corners, pretty much.
Change up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, change up the pace. Yeah.
I like that. Can we talk a little bit about where you see yourselves in the league right now? You finished top 4 at the latest major, but you still felt there was a requirement in a team change. Where do you want to go, and what's in the way of getting to the top?
Obviously we want to win. I just think like our problem before was clutch situations. Like we didn't just pull through in clutch. Like against Toronto, we should have beat them. We were 1 second off of beating them, but enough of the past. We're just looking forward to the future. It's pretty much just, I don't even know, to be honest.
Lock it in.
Lock it up. There we go.
Lock in and close series out.
There we go. Nero, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll let you go celebrate with the team.
Appreciate it.
That is Nero in the Boston Breach with the first 10K headed to their bank account. We still have 2 more matches to go. 20 grand still to go before we finish the day 1 here. Week 2 of our qualifier.
I just gotta say, man, he's capping. That boy ain't slowing down on that.
No,
Nero plays way too fast.
He said that was the goal in the future, right? In the future, not yet. All right, before we head out to break, quick reminder, pick up your gear right now. The CDL shop is open 24/7, and they are taking orders on some of the new hot hoodies and full line of 2023 jerseys. Go to shop.callofdutyleague.com. And of course, rock your gear in-game. Look like the pros, play like the pros with the new CDL team packs. We've got it all. Home and away, male and female versions, weapon camos, emblems, and calling cards for all of your favorite squads. It's only $9.99. Go pick up yours today. When we come back, we got our second battle. Allie, why shouldn't people at home be excited?
Because there's money on the line. Woo!
10 grand and your channel point.